All right, but I don't want recording to progress. So how do I slow that down? I can pause the recording with Alt P, Alt P. Let's try that. See what happens if I hit Alt P. Okay, we are recording, and it's just us. So, kind of by way of review here, as we look at the old, uh, just some of the things that I ripped off from Stephen. We talked about the nouns, the singular nouns with the us, the genitive oo, of him or whatever, dative to him, accusative, the object of a sentence, him, and the vocative. I like to think in terms of direct address, oh man, or something like that, Stephen would say, in one of the things I read. Here you have an example that anthropos, of the man anthropo, to the man anthropo, man anthropon as a direct object, and then here anthro and anthrope. All right, so and then we talked also just these are just things kind of keep our eyes open for as we're kind of getting our feet wet here while Carl gets baptized by fire. Um, we have our plurals of oi, on, ois, and us, and then the vocative or the direct address would have the oi all over again. And I threw one in extra just because you're going to see a lot of these tonight. But here, oh, before I talk about that, there's another. I think of these as feminine. Are these feminine, Stephen? Okay, so feel free to say something if your microphone works tonight. If not, mouth it and I'll try to read your lips. So we have phone, and phones, and that's the voice, right? Am I dealing with that right? That means voice. So and it's a feminine word. So it's phone, phones, phone, and phonane. Um, Nominative, genitive, dative, and accusative. I'm gonna guess, does the vocative do the same thing? Would it be like phone down here?
Yes.
Okay, and then if we went plural on this beastie, it would be I want to say phonai for plural, nominative, phonoi for,
Oh, hold on a second.
am I wrong?
Looks like there's a typo. The genitive plural should be phonone.
The genitive phonon,
Yeah, sorry about that. That's
N-O-N,
my
I
bad
mean,
because I
like V-O-V.
well like omega nu, just like in the first, sorry, just like in the second declension
Okay,
plural
yeah.
anthropone,
Oh, like
also
this?
phonone.
Phonon. All right. Yeah, that's right. The genitives are all the same, aren't they?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. And then at least when they're plural. And then phonice and then phonos.
Mhm.
Sorry, so that's nominative, dative, genitive, accusative for those rows.
Nominative, genitive, dative, accusative. And again, this was misspelled. It should be an O-N. O-N.
Yep.
Omega, what is that V thingy? Nu?
A nu.
Yeah, omega nu. All right. So, yeah. All right. You good, Carl? Because I know you never got access. All the rest of us who are here, we did this. We took all fall to get this down. So we expect you to get this in 5 minutes, okay?
Yeah, I'll be catching up for a while, for a
Yeah.
long
All
while.
right. One of the things I was kind of interested in, there were a couple of things really. Uh, this menos is going to come up quite a bit tonight. Um, and it's basically a participle. All right, as we get into the text. So I just wanted to bring this puppy up to be familiar. And one of the things I did do for you guys is I shipped all this stuff as a PDF to your emails. Okay, so that'll help uh, in case you feel like you got to copy this whole chart. All I really wanted to point out was what looks like MENOS. That's going to show up a bit. And it's just going to have this idea of instead of I row, I'm rowing. Okay, ing. All right. So I'm going to cook on
What does
down
that
here.
what does that word mean?
It puts an
Menace?
ing It's like a verb with an ing on the end of it.
No, I mean, what does Manos mean itself?
It well, let me find one, and I think, oh, I drag you guys somewhere I don't want you. All right. I mean, I do want you, but not there. Um, hmm.
Yeah, menos in this chart here. It's not a word; it's a suffix.
Ah,
Yeah.
ah.
It's
Ing, I
roughly
understand.
it's roughly like the same as ing in English, where
See
it's
that
not.
puppy right there? So here's a guy. He's coming or he's going. I forget what the case may
So
be.
does it always precede an am verb, right? Because anything ends in ing in English, you say I am or he is, they will be something, ing, right? Yeah, usually there's an is verb. Does that
In
precede?
Greek, in ancient Greek, you don't really use those auxiliary verbs like I am going.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah. And we're going to see this in just a second. Like here's a case of it, and that's why I brought it up was here's an echo menace, and they're all rather menacing when it comes right down to it. But I just wanted to point out before we got there that they're going to show up a little bit. Okay. When last we met, um, we were in verse 14 and we did it rapid fire. So I thought it wouldn't hurt for us to review this again. Uh, and so, are you comfortable, Carl, kind of like tromping on some of this here?
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to. I'd love to at least, because that's kind of where I'm at, is trying to figure out alphabet and pronunciation.
Great, go for it.
um,
And we're just going to hang in here with you. See,
all right.
you have a great internet cloud of witnesses.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, you got me on the spot. Hold on. Kai o logos sar. Is that a z sound at the end? The zeta?
I think it's like a Z, isn't it,
Yeah.
Stephen? Sark?
That's
Uh,
a C. It's like K and S
okay.
together.
Yeah,
So
So Sarks.
yeah,
Sarks, ye, again, agenito, kai Eskenosen. Skin. Ske.
yeah. Take it
Nosen.
as far as the comma, okay? That's
Okay.
great. Eskenosen. You're cooking,
Eskenosen.
buddy.
And Emin. Emin?
I mean, I
Emin.
think. How's that
Emin.
sound, Stephen? You want to shed some pronunciation on
Rough
that?
breathing, Mark.
Hmm.
Gotcha.
Yeah, yeah. See, would it be helpful if I read the whole thing?
The whole
Um,
verse?
yeah,
Go for it.
get a little review for pronunciation.
Here you go.
A one quick comment before I do something in my when I'm teaching, I allow omicron, like in Logos, there's two omicrons, and that third word in there's two omicrons. Some people say ah, some people say oh. I say ah. O is okay as well. Just try to be consistent. Whichever you pick, don't go back and forth. So, but you'll hear me say ah. So from the top, Kai halagas, sarx agenita, Kai eskenosin, en hemin, Kai ethea samathe, tain daxan, autu, daxan, hos monoganus, para patras, pleires charitas, kai aletheas.
That's great. All right. And again, some of the word for words on this. Notice the os from our chart up above. That's going to make that a what? It's going to make it the subject of our sentence. And logos is, and the word sarx is flesh. And then I was talking about the genesis of things last time we were here. So it genesis. There's a better way of saying it, of course, but flesh, and he became flesh, and the word became flesh. All right, and he lived um, in or among us? You want to shed some light on that? Because I think this little in, typically I read that as in, but what do you do with that, Stephen?
Yeah, this in this case, Greek is less precise than English because in English we make a distinction between in and among, but in Greek those are both n, so you got to go by context. So he lived just by context, knowing that this is talking about Jesus taking on flesh. Like Jesus as a physical being obviously does not live inside us, but he did live among us.
Yeah, he lived with us. You could probably say with, right?
Yeah, yeah, you could say with.
Kind of that wouldn't be a really great paraphrase, but it might be okay. Kai, this is just plain a mess here. We did define it last week, but I forget what the definition is since I'm not looking right at it. Ephes metha. Stephen, this is a good one for you because it's kind of a mesa.
We saw.
Okay. There there this little awe thing sort of tends to come up from time to time. The conjugation on this is just kind of crazy if you ask me. It
Yeah, I
goes
mean, we in our earlier classes we did not come across we did not do any sort of this tense here. A general tip I'll say is, to there's a lot more to it than this, but a general tip you can watch for is if you have an epsilon at the beginning of a word, there's a pretty good bet that you've got a past tense verb. So in this case, we saw past tense. It's that epsilon at the front that, to oversimplify a bit, is making this past tense.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it happen so much in the present. And I'm gonna guess that there are some extra things we could go to at some later date as I look at some of the extra add-ons there. What do you think? Yeah.
Yep.
So, and we saw the glory of him, doxon, doxology, praise God from whom all blessings flow. You didn't know you'd get a song tonight, but hey, we expect out of a musician. So we have our doxon, the glory of him, of Christ, the glory hosts as mono. Now, mono, I mean, that's really popular in our present English, isn't it? If something is mono, it is one. All right. So the only, and now we've got some Genesis happening again. The only generated, the only begotten, uh, para. My paras, Stephen, are kind of all over the map. The only begotten with the Father, patros, pater. Uh, all I have to do is put an F here, and I've got fatheros, or I got a father. All right. What do you do with para, Stephen?
So yeah, para is another one that's really tricky to get from Greek to English. There's not an exact match to it at all. It's like um, it can be sort of like it's a kind of a with sort of a thing. And in this case, at the risk of reading too much into one term, but it might be, he could have said from, but by saying with like this, it might be the idea that Jesus is the only begotten of the Father, but not from the Father in like a biological sense, as if Jesus had an origin in time, but from with the Father in the sense that there's an eternal fellowship and relationship between them.
It
Almost.
seems exactly like the Spanish to me. Because Spanish has this word para that you use all the time. It seems to mean the same thing, and
Mm.
yeah, it's not necessarily defined in
Almost,
time.
almost a from with, right? Did I get
Yeah,
that
something
right?
like that. Yep. Yep.
From with the Father, Clares. I like the word plural, plethora, uh, certain words in English that seem to have this, but Clares meaning full, just filled up. Oops, I don't know what I'm doing with that. Might be fun to scribble on it. Actually, if I did scribble, I was scribbling this way earlier on a different sheet, giving it pretty colors. There, that's green. I think it's a great vocab word. Um, Clares, full of. And here is that word. You've probably heard this 1,000 times from preachers already that you've heard uh, this charis, grace, um, shows up quite a bit. Agape, you'll hear that term a lot. So here's a typical term. Caritos, grace, kai, and eletheos, truth. It took me a while to get this word down here. It just wasn't really happening for me too well, but it's gotten a lot better lately. So full of grace and truth, some really good vocab words right here. Any comments, Stephen, before we go on to 15? And basically, we just keep cooking until we run out of time. I mean, the
Yeah.
internet sucks.
If you're trying to memorize grace, might be helpful to know the nominative form is charis. The first four letters are the same, but then ending with a sigma. So if it's the subject of the sentence and the form you would look up in a dictionary, charis, and this form here is genitive. I know it's a bit of a curveball since it ends omicron sigma, but it's a different declension.
It's genitive for possessive things that you
So
have.
yes, with some exceptions, and one of the exceptions is when you have a preposition or a preposition-like word, like with playwrights, full of grace and truth. I mean, I guess that kind of works in English, similar of grace. Genitive, a lot of times you can stick the word of before it, of whatever it is, but sometimes the case of a noun just has to do with what preposition it goes with or something like that.
All right, verse 15, we have a proper noun. It's just that I didn't have a capital Yoda from whatever I copied off the internet. It was a little Yoda, but it really is a proper name. And he's shown up a lot in the book of John. So, and John here, Ioannes, John the Baptist. And check this out. Have you noticed this one before? I don't know if we had this one last week or not, but it's going to show up an awful lot here shortly. Martyr. You know how we get a lot of martyrs in Christianity? So here we have a martyri, which means a witness, or John testifies. He testifies about of him. I'm not talking about prepositions this week, but I'm thinking about.
Can
I
I
like
ask
that
two questions? You say martyr means testify
witness.
and witness.
Yeah,
And then peri, is that related to the para at
it
all?
is a
Or is
preposition.
okay.
Yeah, it's in our prepositions. Let me go ahead and give it the pink preposition. Da, 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 All right. So we have the Pink Panther and we have the pink preposition. So para was a preposition up here wherever he went. There he is. There's our para preposition. I'll just give you pink prepositions. How's that sound? Is that good? So we have John witnessing or testifying. I like to think of about him. There are other shades of parody. What do you make of it? You want to say something, Stephen?
Yeah, no, it's a good connection because a lot of English words we have peri meaning like around, but then also we
Periscope.
can like talk around something or
Yeah.
have questions around something. And so likewise in Greek, peri can mean around, like circularly, or it can mean like about, concerning. So here he's testifying concerning him.
Yeah,
This, if I can say something about autu, the next word.
go for it.
So this is him, autu, which in the nominative would be autos. It's autu in the genitive. This is an example of what I was just mentioning about how sometimes you have a preposition and it goes with a certain case. So it's not concerning of him, as if every time you see a genitive, you have to put of in front of it. Rather, although a lot of times we can put of in front of a word to translate a genitive, sometimes a word is genitive because it's going with a certain preposition, like this one.
Now, Kekregon is an interesting word. He cried out loud. Kekragen. Kekragen. There we go. That's a little better, isn't it? For a second, it sounded like a Crayola commercial, but and Kekragen, he cried out loud, Legon, saying, how's that sound to you, Stephen? Okay. And then I got Hutas, this. That's that word there. You'll see it a lot. I think I got my breath marked the wrong direction, didn't I, Stephen? Maybe it's both an accent and a breath mark on that front end.
It's a little hard to tell if there's
Isn't there
backwards
supposed
or
to be one
just
of these jobbies like right like that? There's supposed to be a little
yeah. It
breath
is. It
mark up
is
here.
supposed to be a rough one. Hutas.
Hutas, yeah. So I didn't see that. I copied it across, but all I saw was this little front accent, if you will. Anyway, the word for Hutas is this was oh, I gotta look closely. It's hard to see. This was who I said. This was Han is who, and then Ipin, I said. You want to clarify, Steve? At any point in time, jump in and fix these
Yeah.
words.
This is
Is that the
the
nominative?
one who was of whom I said, and then the next word is going to be what John had to say.
Yeah. So now this is kind of fun, but before I go any further, are there any questions from the peanut gallery? Because we're getting a little muddy here, a little thick.
Yeah, can you do expose that a little bit? I'm there because it's not the same as the auto
Up here?
up here, right? This starts with an omega, but it's
Oh,
kind of a related. It's a this. I guess it means this
Mhm.
in this
I see
case.
what you're saying. Yeah, it means this.
Yeah. So
It's not the
yeah.
same word, right?
It's a
Yeah, so
different word.
autos with an alpha at the beginning and a smooth breathing mark is he, she, or it, depending on context. And
Up
then
here
hutas is this,
with a breathing mark
yeah,
will
with
mean
a
this.
rough breathing mark. This, and and in Greek, it is fine to say this or that, referring to a human being as well as to an object.
Okay. Now, this is kind of fun.
And that nominative, right? In that case.
The os, I believe you're right. Yeah. Nominative here and then ipon. Uh, the one uh, of whom I said. How's that sound?
Yeah, the apon is actually a verb of a type that we didn't get to in our
We
lessons
can talk
earlier.
to
So
someday. Yeah.
apon is I said. So this is um, the one of whom I said.
Yeah. Now, this is kind of cool up here. Are you ready? I don't want to get too fast, so slow us down, Carl, if you need to slow down.
So far, it's working for me. I'm not at the same level as you guys, but I'm getting a lot out of it.
Oh, you're doing great. You're doing amazing. Yeah. So, this means behind the the one behind me came before me. If we just can look at that for a second, the one behind, this is a preposition, so I'm going to break out my pink prepositions again. Da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da. I like these prepositions. Make me happy. Now, why can't I get that marked like that? Come on. There, the pink preposition. I feel better already. And there's another preposition coming here. The Empress, I think, is a lot of fun. And Stephen, I got to tell you why I like this so much. You know why I like the Empress? Because the Empress always comes before you. You never get in front of the Empress. So the Opiso, I mean, that needs to stay behind you. It's just a piece of something. Leave it behind you. So the one behind me, mu is me. The next time you look in the mirror and you think you're seeing yourself, just say moo. Because moo is me. I have 10 minutes left. That's my 10-minute mark. The one behind me is coming or came before me. Isn't that neat? And then this thing is genericizing again. All right. Get going in. Actually, I think I'm wrong. I think I'm wrong on that. Now, I'll leave that for a comment for Stephen, but I really wanted to get my pink prepositions.
That one's a verb.
Yeah, get going in. Meaning, I can look it up because it's in my notebook, which is what I would do if you weren't here. Arrived. Yeah. So the one behind me coming before me arrived. Kind of like that. You want to refine that?
It more of a not so much arrival as existence. The
Exist.
the one the one before me coming, or the one behind me coming, excuse me, the one behind me coming before me existed.
Before me existed. Yeah, the eternality of Christ. And that's a great statement because think about sequentially by birth, when did John come? John came before Empress, before Jesus, but here's John saying, hey, look, you know what, the one that's behind me, physically speaking, and he's coming behind me, you know what, before me, he existed. He is emphasizing, guess what, he was around before I was born, which I think is here's a high water mark. I mean, these are the things I really look for when I'm in the Greek, because it's like, this is great. You're talking about the eternality of Christ here. Uh, go for it. This is why I came. So now, often when I see the word hati, I think of the word because, but it can also mean that, maybe a few other words as well. Uh, prototype. You want to take a crack at that word? Proto.
Beginning.
Yeah, first. Because first or before me, he was. How's that, Steve? Sir Stephen of the Shire. We good? All right. We keep working our way down the page then. Number 16, we'll keep going. We've got 7 minutes left. 7 minutes and only 7. Because ek. It is time, ladies and gentlemen, for the pink preposition. Da 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 da. There's another pink preposition for you. And it means out of, ek. I kind of like to think of ick. I can't wait to get out of here. But whatever helps you. You know me and mnemonics from last week, Carl. It's just a bad habit. because out of the plerematos, we've seen this word before. Anybody want to cheat and look it up at one of the verses earlier and say, where did we see this plural and what did it mean? Or I'll help you. It just seems wrong somehow that I'm helping you cheat. But here we go.
Oh, full of.
Full of, yes. So when we're coming to plerematos, what's your guess? Out of his fullness. Does that sound good? And at any point in time, Stephen, please jump in. Out of the fullness. Oh, and check this out. We have an out too. That's meaningful right there, but not with that stuff in front of it. So out of the fullness of him, genitive, hey Mace, help me out, Stephen, without looking at that. Is that we?
Yep.
We, Pan. Anytime you see the god Pan or something like that, Pan often means like what are some other words that start with Pan in English, typically that mean all? Uh,
Well, I
panoply.
think of bread too, which is kind of
You what?
interesting. I think of bread, Panera bread.
Oh, Panera bread, all breads,
Yeah, well, pan is the word for bread in a lot of languages.
I suppose. Yeah. In this case, we got all. Okay, so out of the fullness of him, we all. I like just this little root word right here. This showed up before, but we haven't seen it since. This labo or lob. If you lob something at me and I catch it, what am I doing? I'm receiving it. All right. So out of the fullness of him, we all received. And that can be worked a little better there, Stephen. You want to take a crack at that and turn it into
I'll
English
just,
now?
since we mentioned it earlier, just mention again that epsilon at the beginning is giving a past tense to
So
it. We
it's not I'm
received.
receiving it in the present, but we received it.
Yep.
Yeah. And men, I think, is the little extension for plural we, right?
Yes. Yeah. Men. Men when it's all the way at the end of a word is typically showing that it's we doing the action. We received. If you see men not quite at the end of a word, it's probably showing you that it's a participle, an ing sort of a word.
Yeah, like menos.
Mhm.
And some of those gives you an ing, but a men all by itself gives you a we. So I want to play with Carl as much as I can right here and see if I can't just make it confusing, because that'd be more fun. We gotta mess around a little bit. All right.
Well, I know anti there is like
Yeah,
it's got to be against.
yeah. So, and check this out. I think we saw this word in a recent verse. This is in tonight's translation. Uh, and let me move up to it. There it is. We ran into it up here. Caritos, charis. We meant grace, and so here, and grace against grace. One might say grace upon grace. Or actually, technically, if we go the right direction, probably we're going from here over to there. Because this is our nominative, right, Stephen?
Well, charin is accusative because it's the object of a labamen. We
Yeah,
received, and then what did we receive? We received grace.
right.
And then charitas is genitive because anti takes a genitive um, objective preposition.
There we go. All
Yeah,
right.
And anti, it doesn't mean against. So this has puzzled commentators a little bit. The idea might be something like one grace of God pushing out another grace of God, like almost as sort of a playful, like God loves us so much that it's just like one great
We're
thing pushing
we're
aside the next great thing.
we're at the end of a conveyor belt, and it just keeps coming, and you can't, it's like the tribbles. You can't. There's too many of them. God's grace, and it just keeps coming. Isn't that neat? All right. That's why Stephen came
But I
tonight to
mean,
make
in is this at the beginning of John where he also talks about like men not receiving, being against the truth and everything, right?
I
Am I
couldn't
wrong
quite
about that?
catch
Sorry.
that.
At the beginning of John, let me make sure my audio is the right one. No, it is. I'm sorry, I should have John open, but I know that near the beginning of John, he also talks about people being against the truth and not hearing it.
Mhm. Yeah, I think, when he says, we all have received, he doesn't mean we all human beings everywhere, but we Christians have received grace.
I think this particular one is a different form.